Talib, thanks a million for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
An absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Let's start with a little bit about yourself, your background, your role and the business in general.
Talking about my background, actually, I'm an engineer. I have done my master's in marketing, and I started my career in automotive industry back in Pakistan, my home country. And I worked in automotive and its allied services for approximately 4 years. And after that, I joined a lubricants organization back in Pakistan, which is one of the top brands in the world. I worked with that lubricants company for 7-8 years, and then I got the opportunity to move to Saudi Arabia with one of the brands over there, and that is one of the leading brands in Saudi Arabia right now. So after the privatization, we started to grow that business quite tremendously. The pace was very good, and my current role, what I'm doing right now is I'm the head of exports business for the same brand, Petromin Corporation, Petromin brand.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about Petromin. What is the nature of that business?
Okay, Petromin is a lubricants organization. It's a lubricant company. It was formed in 1968 by the royal decree, and it was a merger, or it was a joint venture at that time between Saudi Aramco and ExxonMobil. By the passage of time, they have built their reputation, they have built their brands in Saudi Arabia, and in 2007 they decided to privatize the business, and in 2000 it was privatized by a local group which is called the Bah Group. So they have acquired that brand.
Okay, excellent. So as somebody that's been clearly in the industry for quite a period of time, what changes have you seen over the last few years, and what kind of changes are you expecting to see in the coming years within, let's say, specific categories that you guys are operating in?
That's very interesting because just to begin with, when I started my career, when I used to have my own motorbike or a car personally, so at that time the technology of lubricants which we were using at that point in time are now about to be obsolete now. So what happened is that by the passage of development of automotive industry, especially in terms of the performance, in terms of being environmental friendly, these are the demands by the automotive manufacturer, that they have to comply with the emission controls, they have to give better performance. These all things put a stress on lubricant because they have to perform. So by passage of time, the lubricant technology has started to develop itself, and in last 5-6 years it has developed tremendously. Going forward, we are talking about the electrical cars as well. We never heard of one of the brands in America, which is Tesla. Now those electrical hybrid cars are coming in. So going forward, this industry is going to change a lot. So we are anticipating that there will be a quite substantial change within this business.
And what challenges do you expect to see then? Because that's something that electric vehicles is something huge, big topic that is at Automechanika this year, certainly with our innovation zone as well. What challenges do you see businesses facing because of this?
When we talk about the challenges which we are facing right now is we are operating in GCC territories, and our major export portfolio is in African territory, in African continent. We are operating in GCC and Asia Pacific. The thing is that this technology, the new electrical cars, they are realities now. So we cannot shove away our responsibility toward the future. So we cannot say that the future is not coming, but it is. But the thing is that it will take some time to got those things into Africa or Asia Pacific, or even I think GCC would be very first one to adopt to those changes. The challenges which we are facing right now is in GCC territory, especially, there are a lot of geopolitical situation which is going on, which one has to cope up with. When we talk about Africa, in general, the currency devaluations, the currency availability, the technological advancement over there is still a challenge over there, and we are hoping that in coming years, the African territories and the African continent will shape up so that it can give us a better future prospect. When we are talking about Asia Pacific, that's a very promising continent where we need to focus upon, and it is one of the fastest growing markets for lubricants. So talking about geopolitical situations, the dollar availabilities, in addition to this, these are the macro level details. But when we go slightly zoom in into the thing, the availability of base oils, quality base oils, the movement of base oils and availability with the prices, these are the challenges which we on and off face during any part of the year.
And if I could push you a little more, then what challenges do you see within the business having to cope with these changes that are happening, in the environment?
Answering to your question is that because of this change in the technology and advancement in automotive section, in industry line of businesses, and in commercial road transport for the environmental pressures, we have to develop the product to meet the new demands of the technology, for which we need to invest in research and development with our channel partners, from our suppliers as well. So this is one of the challenges which we are facing right now. In addition to this, we can have a product, but the next part, which is very important component into the whole DNA of our organization, is the people. So we need to have right people to handle and to do the sales, to deliver the growth for the organization. So that is the next challenge which we are facing. So we have responsibility as well, that we should be having the right skill of people, and if we take them on board, it is our responsibility to develop them, train them, so they are ready to deliver the bottom line for the organization. So these are the challenges which we are facing internally right now.
Absolutely. You touched on the markets that you are currently operating in. Where do you see the big growth coming from, or what's the priority for Petromin?
The thing is that when we, again, as I just mentioned, that we are very strong in GCC region because of our presence, because being Saudi brand, we are, so our presence is very well known in GCC territory. When it comes to the African, we really need to focus in Africa, because we feel we need to grow in that market, and we have been absent. Let me put this way, that we were not that aggressive in those territories, and that is a potential for us, because once you are not in any market, for me, even it's a declining market, for me it's a growth opportunity, because I have to take a share from someone. So for us, one of the growth opportunities where we need to focus upon is the African territories. But having said this, then the Asia Pacific, when we talk about like countries like Pakistan, like Malaysia, like Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, China is growing very fast, India is one of them. These are the places where we are also not present. But these are the territories which are expanding fast as well. So Africa is not expanding that fast, but in Africa we are not there. But when we talk about Asia Pacific, they are expanding very fast, they are growing very fast, the economies are delivering very good growth, but we are also not present over there. So as business, we are actually right now as a strategy focusing to retain and to retain our market share in GCC territories and to grow in African territory, and we need to focus to develop the new markets in Asia Pacific.
So when you decide, let's say, that you're going to focus on Asia Pacific, how do you go about that market entry strategy in terms of starting to build your brand there, starting to build awareness or get penetration within that market? How does that process work for you guys?
When we plan to enter into any specific market, what happens is that we have to do different step approaches. So step number one is a desktop exercise where we do the evaluation and calculation that the product which is exported versus the cost of a product made in that specific territory. So because there are import duty, taxes and trade pricing parities available, so we need to evaluate that desktop exercise. Once that is done and we take a decision how we are going to go about that specific market, the second thing is to appoint our mega distributors, sub-distributors, and to identify our trade partners. So we have to do the value chain analysis, that who will get what share. This basically means the price calculation of our competitors and where we are going to position our product in terms of pricing. Once these evaluations and everything is done, we have to focus for, let's say, a year or a couple of years to make our brand available. So because it's an FMCG product, so we have to make it available first. Once it is available, then we go for the next step level, is where we need to do the consumer promotion. So then consumer should be aware, because it doesn't make any sense like we go in a territory, we go into a new fresh country or a new country, we start with the consumer promotion, consumer is aware of it, he goes to in his hometown or he goes to a shop and he asks for Petromin and there is no Petromin. So that whole marketing budget is all drained. So what we focus is, let's make the product available first at the trade level, then we do the consumer marketing. So that's how we do the business.
And I suppose, can I pick your brain then on, let's say, the changes that are happening out here from an online supply chain point of view? You know, you obviously have a direct customer business as well, or sorry, consumer business. Do you see opportunities growing where you can sell online direct to customer rather than having to go through traditional retail channels, and how that may play out in the next couple of years?
Again, your question is again related to technology, which we were talking about. Earlier, like 20-30 years back, when someone wants to talk to his family in hometown, you have to go to public call office. But now, everything is on your device through the internet. So these things are coming up. So what the question which you have asked is a technological advancement. The thing is, we cannot put our heads into the sand and say it's not coming, it is coming. So we have to brace ourselves with the new technology coming up. In few cases, what happens is that when we start the business operation, we do not enter into that market by ourselves, because we do not form our companies. Let's suppose we want to enter into Malaysia. I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. If we want to enter into Malaysia, so we don't open our companies over there. So what we do is, we want to test the ground first. So in order to test the ground, the safest path is going through our traditional route, which is mega distributors and distributors. And once you are in, and once we form the organizations, then yes, then you have different channels. You sell through distributors, you sell through traders, there is a strength of wholesalers as well. Then you do online business as well. One of our country where we are present ourselves is Petromin Pakistan Private Limited. We started this operation a couple of years back, and we formed our company last year. Right now, because of this technological advancement, like selling online, we have the Facebook accounts, we have Twitters. So these social media campaigns are there as well, and these are one of the core these are the things which are helping us with the brand awareness within the consumer. So these are helping us. One of the country, I'm talking about Europe, we started to penetrate into one of the country in Europe through our distributors, and he is only selling online. So we have registered our brand on Amazon in Europe. So right now he is doing this, and this is the model which we just started. So it's like a pilot project. We are going to evaluate it. So it takes us quite some time to comply with the requirements of European Unions, then for the Amazon itself. But eventually it's being done. So inshallah, we are going to start our operation with our distributor partner over there through Amazon online, and it's purely online, no trade, nothing is in between. We are going to test this pilot project, and once it is successful, we are going to replicate it in other part of the world as well. Talking about our campaigns, we have a network of 650 Petromin Express in Saudi Arabia as on right now, and we are one of the fastest growing retail network in Saudi Arabia. In order to reach to the consumer, we use all kind of social media campaigns through all technology which is available, because the more you touch, the more you talk to your consumer, the better it is.
Absolutely. It's about building that trust and that brand loyalty.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I've one final question for you then. What are you hoping to achieve out of Automechanika over the next 3 days?
The thing is that, just to give you a background, last year we visited Automechanika. At that time we were not the participant. At that time, last year me and my colleague, we visited Automechanika last year. So we were visitors at that time. And when we saw that there is a potential for us to showcase our product, to showcase our organization over there, because now what we are expecting from Automechanika in next 3 days is that we are going to meet the potential business partners over here, distributors, traders over here. And in addition to this, we are also into third-party brand business as well. So any customers who are walking, so we feel that this is one of the good opportunity for us to be present. That's the reason why we are one of the exhibitors this year. And we are very confident that once the results are good, we will be here with you next year as well.
Excellent. That's great to hear.
Thank you very much.
Talib, thanks a million for joining me.
It's my pleasure.